under this canvas cover is one of the best-kept secrets in the automobile business. We hope you'll help us keep it a secret until after the public showings. It's the newest member of the Ford family of fine cars, the Edsel. As you may know, the Edsel will be publicly introduced on September 4th. A great deal of planning has gone into getting ready for that day. And we want you to know about that planning so that you will understand what Edsel means to you as a member of Ford management. That's why we have prepared this management meeting. Before we begin our meeting, I would like to say that I am personally very gratified at reaching this milestone in the development and progress of our company. We have felt for a long time the need for Ford Motor Company to have more effective coverage of the medium-priced field to enable us to reach our competitive goals. By all of us putting our best efforts behind it, we feel that the Edsel program will help us accomplish that aim. And now, here is the Edsel story.
I'm Dick Crafty, General Manager of the Edsel Division, and it's my privilege to be able to bring to you today, with the help of Emmett Judge, who is our Merchandising and Product Planning Manager, the story behind the car under this cover. It's an important story to you as a member of Ford management because it represents a great step in the growth and progress of Ford Motor Company. We want you to see the Edsel a little later. We want you to know the car, its styling, its features, its performance. We want you to be as proud of it as we are, so that you can help us tell the Edsel story all across the country. But before you see it, we want you to know the background, the thinking and ideas and planning that led up to it. Why are we building the Edsel? Why do we need another car line? What do we expect to gain for Ford Motor Company with this new car? How are we going about it? I'm going to ask one of the men who have lived with these questions for a good many months to give you the answers. Emmett Judge.
Thank you, Dick. The Edsel story is a great story. It will become an important part of automobile industry history. And it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience for all of us in Ford management. The company is doing a job in introducing the Edsel that surely we will never do again, and a task which I question we will ever see done again in our lifetimes. It's a big task. As you know, our company is investing $250 million to introduce the Edsel. It's a tremendous program in terms of its financial implications. And that part of it makes it a real challenge to all of you who will have a part in the successful establishment of the Edsel in the American automobile market. Most people are unaware that the Ford Motor Company has been thinking and planning the Edsel car for 10 years. Our roots are not a mere 2 years deep in the company, but in reality 10 years. It was in 1948 that Ford Motor Company first began thinking about the introduction of another car in the medium price field. It was Henry Ford II who originally suggested the idea. But the company had more pressing problems at that time, as you all well know. However, a year later, in 1949, we made the first presentation of the proposal to the Executive Committee. At that time, we referred to it not as the Edsel, but as the intermediate car. We received approval of the program and started the styling of the automobile. It was well planned in terms of preliminary engineering in 1950 when the Korean War came along. I'm sure you are all well aware of the impact of that particular event. We could not have sold a single additional automobile by having another car during a war-directed economy. We discontinued the program, although a great deal of study went on in the meantime. Finally, in the fall of 1954, the program was represented to the Executive Committee. The designation E-Car program was attached to the undertaking at that time, and active styling work was started in late 1954. The program was approved by the Board of Directors on April 15, 1955. In the 2 years that followed, we completed the styling and engineering of the car, created an organization which now totals 1,500 people, and have underway the creation of a dealer organization. The big event we are all waiting for is the culmination of not only 2 years of work and development, but the satisfaction of completing a job of some 10 years' duration. That's very briefly the history of the Edsel program. But many people ask me, and I'm sure they ask you because you are associated with the Ford Motor Company, why have we undertaken such a program? Why are we investing $250 million in a risk venture of this type? Our answer to that is that Ford has a real sense of responsibility in being a part of the things that are occurring in America today. And even more important, we want to be a part of the growth and potential that lie ahead in this great country of ours. Let's look at some of the things that are happening in America. In 1945, there were some 140 million Americans. Yet in the 10 years following the war, we grew to 165 million. Since the last successful introduction of a car in America, the Mercury in 1938, 65 million Americans have been born. To them, the introduction of a new automobile will be a new event. But more importantly, let's look at the future. Statisticians estimate that by 1965, the American population will total approximately 190 million. To us in this industry and this company, more people mean more automobiles, because the automobile is an essential part of American living. Putting together this growth in terms of people with economic growth, you particularly see the significance of things to come in America. Back in 1945, we had a gross national product just over 215 billion. Gross national product, as you know, is the measure of total productivity in America. By 1955, we had grown to 375 billion. In 1956, we were well over 400 billion. And this year, we are running along at a rate of around 427 billion. By 1965, even the most conservative estimates indicate that we will have a gross national product of somewhere around 535 billion. When you add that to growth in terms of people, it means the purchase of more automobiles. In 1955, we had the biggest year in the industry, really a bonanza for all of us. Americans spent $19 billion for new automobiles. Yet when you compare this with what is going to happen in 1965, it becomes small. By 1965, we estimate it will be somewhere around $26 billion, because there will be more people with more economic resources to buy more automobiles. These basic economic factors indicate briefly and simply why the Ford Motor Company wants to be an important part of the growth of this industry. Back in 1945, there were 26 million cars on the road. A lot of people thought if we ever reached 30 million, we would bump up against the ceiling. Yet the industry doubled the car population, 50 million cars by 1956. Today, we are still growing. By 1965, there will be some 70 million cars on the road in America. The potential owners of these cars are here today. We can count them. In addition, the great movement to suburbia has made the automobile an essential part of our living and created the need for a second car, a pattern that was unheard of and unthought of 15 or 20 years ago. It is this tremendous growth in people and economics and the importance of the automobile in American living today that is the one important reason our company is embarking on this program of introducing a new car to the motoring public. Because you are a part of the company and the industry, you know the structure of the automobile market. You know that in the low price field there are three principal makes, one for Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler. We have about the same number of models as Chevrolet and Plymouth, and we each have about the same number of dealers. When you examine the medium price market, you find an entirely different pattern. Ford Motor Company has only one product, the Mercury. General Motors has three, Pontiac, Oldsmobile, and Buick. Chrysler has its three, Dodge, DeSoto, and Chrysler. The deficiency in the market is evident for our company. In the high price field, a pattern very much like the low price field exists. Each of us has a product, and we each sell through about the same number of dealers. The big gap is in the medium price field. And because of this lack of equal participation in the medium price market, our company has been predominantly a low-price car producer. For example, 80% of our volume is in the Ford car, and 20% of our sales are in the other markets.